This is Wandering Universe. Today, I'll be exploring another ancient site located in a different location, hidden within the bush scrub vegetation far away in the northern region of Australia, the Gympie Pyramids. So, ready for a jam-packed video full of fun surprises? Alright then, let's go exploring. This is the state of Queensland. Let's take a closer look. See if you can guess where Gympie is. Go on, take a good look. Squeeze around. Can you guess where it is? It's right here where my arrow is pointing. Now, we're going to go even further. This is the actual site of the very pyramid itself, seen from Google Earth. There are two things Australia is known for: thongs, or as the Americans call it, the foot G-string, and the famous Djaki smugglers. But there are some places that provide more interesting and hidden gems than just what you see in tourist brochures. Queensland is one of them, and what you'll see, apart from sun, sand, and surf, it's well-known Aussie icons like the big pineapple, banana, prawn, lobster, mango, and the pyramid on some lone farm. Don't mistake this for a tourism ad. This is about an exploration that very few dare to go. So, let's get down to business. Gympie, a secluded country town, is north from the Sunshine Coast. Gympie Pyramid is also known as Rocky Ridge, is 5 kilometres northeast from the town, and there is a trail to go trekking up to the summit. When you get there, all you'll see is this. Lots of trees, grass, and some rocks. But there is more to it than just bush scrub and dense vegetation. There is a long brick walling that stands by a few metres. It's not much, but it's a start. It was discovered by a Mr. Rex Gilroy in 1975 on a routine flyover overlooking the terrain for a research expedition, and came across something that caught his eye. A structure of some sort. He mustered enough courage and was determined to check it out. So he examined the site and measured it 200 high and had 18 terraces. He said he spotted blue stone pillars that he actually found at the summit. Fortunately, he has souvenired a few of these stone carvings before it was vandalised. He is not the only one. Someone else also surveyed the area before him, Michael Morwood in 1967. Also before him, John Green surveyed the site around the mid to late 1800s. Then much later on, Gray Jeffries also surveyed the area as a student in 1990 and 2007. The moment news got out, it travelled fast, and of course, it got ridiculed by the press, making all sorts of crazy allegations debunked by many archaeologists, historians, academics of the scholarly world as fake news. Is it a hoax? A prank? A sick joke? Make-believe fairy tale of goblins and drools? Well, according to them, Gympie Pyramid is nothing more than garbage. Total BS. But of course, it's easier to say it than to actually look into it. These scholars all thought they, including Mr. Gilroy, had rocks in their head. So they say. But along came a nice bloke, Mike Dale, from the same area, wanted to get clarification of Rex's discovery. So he went out on a limb to climb up the mountain range to find something, anything, that would suggest otherwise. In fact, what he found suggested Mr. Gilroy may be onto something. After examining several sandstone blocks, that area housed a lunar observatory. That's what he claimed. Check out this picture. What does this tell you? It suggests that some kind of machine drilled a perfect triangle shape on the surface of this rock. No way a human could perfect it in this manner. It could have been done by a laser rock drilling machine. Perhaps. He also spotted some molten iron rock of some sort scattered around the area. If you have a look at this photo, a metallic object was magnetized to this molten rock. He believed it's some magnetic type of rock made from rough iron ore. I also dug up online a very intriguing piece of Australiana history that dates back to the time of Indus-Hindu civilization. I found a snippet from Ramayana in the Kishkinda Kanda episode, narrated by none other than Valmiki. It is said that Varnara, King Sungrievas, had a plan, yes, to send 4 teams to 4 directions of the earth to find Setha, kidnapped by Ravana. Does this sound like the Trojan horse story? Could be. Apparently, this captain, his mate, and his crew, along with the royal entourage, sailed across the South Atlantic Ocean, across the Indian Ocean to the east coast, and found the Great Barrier Reef, stopped over on Fraser Island, had a picnic lunch along the beach shores of Brisbane, and a surf at the Gold Coast. Now, you must be thinking, were there any artifacts found? Well, I'm glad you asked. Of course there were. In fact, numerous. One artifact in particular, found at the site, was an old rustic type of statue that represented the Vedic god Ganesha in a Padmasana posture, seated on a lotus flower. Still think it's a hoax? Think again. But the snooty academia world wanted none of it. They all wanted to lay claim their own conjured up theories that was an old Italian vineyard settlement, nothing more. But Mr. Jeffries did some ploughing at the site and confirmed that there were no traces of old vine stems, roots, trestles, equipment, pipes, pumps, no visible signs of winemaking found whatsoever. To add further evidence, no Italian community settled in Gympie before World War II. I know, it's a long video, but hey, there's more juicy bits to come, right? The artifacts. Several interesting ones were found at the site, such as an ancient bronze Ganesha statue, a piece of bloomery iron, 3 iron bards, Russian, Chinese coins, a Grecian urn, a Chinese teapot of some sort, a stone statue of an ape-like figure known as the Gympie ape, and a yellow stone head of Olmec origin. Even a crude-shaped obelisk that depicted a sunstone was found in a nearby swamp. However, Mr. Gilroy kindly displayed his hieroglyphic stone blocks collection right before you. Here's one, as you can see. Now, he just drew the chalk on top of the inscription, so that way you can see it clearly in front of you. I'll show you another one. And that's the second one, and that's the third one. The writing suggests it dates back to the Old Kingdom of Egypt. It tells the story of a man named Amtept, an official to a king who travelled far out to sea in search of land. If that were the case, it means that this particular official travelled around the same time as the 2 darling princes of Khufu at Gosford, such as the Gosford glyphs. And here's an example. This pyramid is no longer as it is now, just a secluded mountain range, also called Rocky Ridge. There were once upon a time ago some stone blocks found stacked on top of one another that formed a step pyramid. Step pyramids are known all over the circumference of the celestial equator, including one found in Egypt, as you can see in front of you. The Gympie Pyramid used to look something like this, with actual steps that did lead to a flat summit. There were known artifacts that some treasure hunters went out on a hunt for valuable treasure that were sold on the black market, such as the bluestone terraces and the like. Unfortunately, this very pyramid had been demolished for a very, very strange reason, and I'll tell you why. According to Dr. Sam Osmanagic, a pyramid construction and design archaeologist, has come up with the concept of pyramid building. No, he didn't build it himself, he just made the huge effort to trek up the mountain trail to investigate the matter. To his surprise, he didn't really find much other than a man-made small long stone wall. But something didn't sit right with him. He knew something was up, and so he did the honours by standing next to a wall, as you can see right here. No, not just any old wall, but a particularly fascinating wall without the graffiti. This kind gentleman did the honours by doing a video about the stone wall structure. This wall was built for the Surface Hill Uniting Church since 1868. The completion of the church itself ended around somewhere in the 1930s. What took them so long? Back to him. The wall is made of a basalt-type sandstone, a volcanic type of rock found along mountain ranges situated near water such as a lake or river. It is 262 metres long and reach up to 2.5 metres. If you have a closer look, you'll see the construction design. It's unique. He said the European stone block building never created different shapes and sizes. It is uniform for brick production to build, well, homes faster. Stone masonry didn't come into existence until around the medieval times. It meant in Europe it was all a uniform design. What's truly fascinating is that he calculated that each stone block has not one, not two, but 6 sides, and the corner blocks have 14 sides. What does this tell you? It means that these stone blocks were carved using the golden ratio. And you can refer this to the Rickard structure video. Anyway, he did something that no other archaeologist would do. A comparison chart. He compared the design and structure with the other stone wall blocks from Cusco in Peru. And he confirmed that this wall right here, as you can see in front of you, dates back to the pre-Inca time. What does this tell you? It means this wall this man is standing is far, far, far older than many historians and academics estimated. Were they wrong? Let's prove it. This is a very Machu Picchu wall. Compare the brickwork to this one. Spot the difference? Even the Polynesians adopted this type of construction. The big deal is that these stone blocks are polygonally cut and meant to slide alongside each other perfectly. No mortar, no cement required. His conclusion, after he was showed the old photo of the pre-demolished Gympie Pyramid, that the stone blocks were the summit step walling of the very pyramid itself. But wait, there's more. His hypothesis states that these very uniquely cut stone blocks were carefully removed one by one, piece by piece, down the mountain, placed onto the back of a truck, transported to the churchyard, and carefully reassembled these blocks using the golden ratio. The question is, who were the stonemasons that knew this golden ratio, and why? Dr. Osmanagic said that different construction techniques were used to make their pyramids make them earthquake-proof, meaning the building feels the earth move by getting its groove on. It's called flexibility. A human attempt was made by trying hard, using whatever materials was available on site to restore to its former glory, but the damage was already done. It was too far gone. Yet, Dr. Osmanagic did a diagnostic of a strange phenomena that occurred in his presence, an energy vortex or field. What's interesting about this particular photo is you have a look at this long rectangular oblong block. Have a look along the top edge of this line, the top edge of the line right here where my arrow is pointing. That is not done by nature. That is done by someone. Was it a laser cut, or was it man-made, or was it chiseled with using iron tools? Can you guess? Take a closer look. But get this, he found not one, not two, but several small tunnels that led underneath the base of the pyramid. Still think it's a hoax? These tunnels, just like the pyramids in Giza, channeled water from a large lake or river to flow through underneath the structure to power it up. Electricity, perhaps? Did the pre-ancients had knowledge of pyramid construction and electricity and astronomy to engineer these buildings? You've got to wonder. He surmised that the Gympie Pyramid is not an actual pyramid by design, no four corners, no apex, no sloping sides, but to that of a step pyramid. What's furthermore is that the local Aborigines, especially the elders from the Djaki Kundu First Nations people, said that the Gympie Pyramid during the Ice Age was surrounded by huge lakes or seas that extended from the coast to the base of the pyramid. So it's possible that this once built pyramid was used as some communication station or mining station. Either way, water was needed. The site belongs to the Aboriginal tribe, the Gympie people, who are the landholders of this sacred site, and for good reason. This particular site sits on a very important songline called the Seven Sisters. The Seven Sisters correlates with their Aboriginal astronomy knowledge of the stars. It's a very important dreaming track for them to follow as it assists in finding the nearest waterhole and abundant resources. Songlines is basically celestial mapping, such as charting the movement of our sun, moon, constellations like Orion, Sirius, and motions of our Milky Way. The Aborigines have been celestial mapping their course for more than 70,000 years. It's how they managed the land through knowledge of the movement and positioning of the stars to find water and food. They are considered the world's first astronomers. Having said that, check out my videos on celestial mapping and see for yourself. But don't start doing the corroboree just yet, because there is more evidence uncovered into this mystery. You've got to remember that the Aborigines go back a long, long way to the southern and middle parts of India, and their ancestors migrated from west and eastern parts of Siberia. Land management goes back 100,000 years, even during the previous ice age. Landmass bridges and sea voyages didn't happen until the last ice age, when the ice melted and water levels rose. By that stage, these people used celestial mapping to chart their course to find land. From the Chinese, Greeks, Egyptians, Polynesians, greatest celestial sat-nav invention to do two things: sea trading and mining for gold. See for yourself with this Aboriginal rock carving. You think the biggest gold rush happened in Australia during the mid-1800s. Think again. The world's biggest gold rush happened from one introduced technology: ships, spanning thousands of years of merchant seafaring. As far back during the Phoenician times, who were in search of gold to mine for the royal kings during the ancient Egyptian times. So, in short, the Gympie Pyramid has a long history as far as the eye can see. There is some legitimacy with hard evidence to suggest that someone and something did happen at that site. So far, very little has been excavated, let alone saving it from demolition. A planned highway was supposed to have occurred last year, but the Queensland government is having second thoughts. Supposedly, a proposal of the 5-stage process of preserving the site was enforced. So far, nothing. So, what does the future hold for Gympie Pyramid? In order to preserve the site, a conservation effort must be enacted upon. That means a trusted agreement between both parties must be in place, provided it is a fair deal, a fair negotiation. Put it this way, the Gympie people didn't turn up with a truckload of turnips, neither have the few alternative archaeologists. All this site needs is time, a good amount of time to do a proper and thorough excavation, so we can end the hoax myth claims once and for all. And why not leave something behind for us to go exploring in the near future? Besides, I think it's totally cool ancient Egyptians had set foot here. By the way, the two princes were not the only ones who encountered a lot of erratic bugs off the coast. Amtet also was sprung by crazy creatures like mozzies, creepy crawlies, snakes, lizards, pythons, goannas, leeches, crocodiles, eels, sharks, jellyfish, and a whole lot more. Ah, Queensland. Beautiful one day, disastrous the next. In the next video, I'll be exploring another ancient site further up the northern coast of Queensland, Walsh's Pyramid. That's all for now.